Hello, my name's Lloyd Ross, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where money buys happiness. This particular video I'm going to talk to you about is all about compound interest, but not in a way probably you've heard about it before. Compound interest is what Albert Einstein here sits on my desk said is the eighth wonder of the world, meaning it's very powerful. He says it's one of the most powerful forces in the universe. How does it affect your wealth? Well, it actually affects everything. It actually affects your habits. The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy is a wonderful book to read if you want to read that. We did some training with him in Hawaii once, and it was great to have him there to talk about that book. And I read it, and it really makes a lot of sense. Compound interest I learned at school, but no one showed me how to apply it to money or my life. Okay, so the compound effect is where you're getting gains on your former gains. Okay, now a lot of people who work out at the gym, they'll know that muscle growth is from the compound effect. Okay, it's because you're getting gains on your previous gains of muscle. So you get a gain, then you get a gain on your gain, then you get a gain on again, 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 and it's what creates growth. All right. So when it comes to the compound effect with poor habits, it's the same thing, but just goes the backwards. It's anti-compounding, and it's usually where you're compounding outward if you're eating back poorly for quite a number of days. If you've ever seen that documentary Super Size Me by Morgan, I don't know what his last name is, but he does this documentary and he eats McDonald's, I think, for every day for 30 days. All right. Now he puts on a lot of weight because he's compounding, he's adding weight to his previous weight. So he's actually compounding his fat cells, okay, out. So the compound effect works very powerfully. And incidentally, if you get better, if you improve 1% per day for 365 days of the year, okay, if you get better by 1%, then you're actually going to be 36 times better off, 36-fold, okay, which is incredible, by the end of the year. Okay, that is how success works. Now, what actually happens with the compound effect, I'm going to pull up my doodle screen here, and what actually happens with the compound effect is this, okay, think of the compound effect like, well, like a snowball, I suppose you could say, rolling down a hill. Okay, this is a hill. There's you at the top of the hill. Those who have done training with me might have seen this before at one of my events, but you're at the top of the hill. That's a dreadful, remember, I failed art. So if your snowball's here, okay, snow is usually blue on the cartoons, but if you start here and it rolls down, it actually gets bigger because the snow that this ball accumulates from here to here adds to the original size, okay? And this is your growth, this is your compound effect, the snow that's been added in that time frame. Same thing happens as it goes down here, it gets bigger. Now, the previous ball was that size, but because it started at that size, it added more snow and it actually created that. So that is the compound effect at work, okay? The ball is compounding, all right? The size of the ball is compounding down a hill. Now, imagine instead of snow, it's money, okay? You may have seen this trick done before with coins. If you, if you take a 1 cent piece or a penny and you double the penny every day for 30 days, you end up with like $10 million, okay? Which is so powerful when it comes to the compound effect. But the same thing happens with your money. It's like a snowball, all right? Because it's not actually, it is your money compounding, but people get confused. They think it's the money itself. Money itself doesn't compound, okay? So how do you create the compound effect with your money? It's very simple, really. What actually happens is your money doesn't just grow magically. What happens is you take your money, okay, you have here, and go back and watch some other YouTube clips. You want to know how to create money, but you get some money here and you actually do this crazy thing, but you buy assets, okay? You either buy housing, so real estate, and you rent it out, get a tenant in the property, okay? And they pay you rent money, goes into your pocket, and the value of the land goes up over time. So capital growth and cash flow. Now, the capital growth part is where you're going to get the compound effect, okay, generally. So if you buy a house for $1 million, okay, the next year, let's say that the house grows by 10%, and the next year it's worth $1.1 million, okay? Now, if it grows by another 10%, okay, it's worth $1.110 million, okay? I think that's right, the math. It's that's probably about right. Okay, I think 1.2 million, 10%. But see how it's not 1.2, it's 1.210, okay? I haven't done the math, but it's growing a little bit. I should grab my calculator. It's growing by 10%, But the next year, it grows by 10%, but it's growing on a higher base of 10%. So it grows actually by more, incrementally more the next year. So you're getting gains on your gains. Your money here that's worked before for the 10% is getting another 10% the following year. And that's how it works, right? The same thing happens with shares. If you buy a share portfolio, same sort of thing. Let's say you buy even $100 worth of shares. If it grows by 10% in 1 year, the next year it's worth 110. It grows by 10% again, it's worth 120, again, probably 121. I haven't done the math, but see, it's this little bit extra gains each time, okay? That is the compound effect. Now, what happens powerfully is when you do it for a number of years, your money is starting to create more money from the growth. Even though you're probably adding money to it, it's your money making money, all right? And that is how you compound your money. Your money doesn't compound by itself. You've got to buy an asset that grows in value, either shares or property or art or Lego. Lego actually grows by like, I think it's like 14% a year. It's outperformed property and shares. You know, there's certain things that grow in value over time, okay? And that is how you create the compound effect with your wealth, not just in money. If you put your money in the bank, it's going to anti-compound because inflation is going to drop it beyond what you can get in the savings rate currently in 2022, right? So the bank is a poor place for your money if you wanted to compound it, if you want to compound your wealth. And I don't know anyone that doesn't want to compound their wealth. But here's the thing, you got to be buying assets. And that's where people go a bit amiss. They think this compound effect thing is just magic, but it ain't. It's where you put your money to grow it. Now, you got to be patient. You got to consistently put your money away and you have to wait. Your money will start working for you. And the longer you hold something for, the more it works, the harder it works for you. It'll work roughly about twice to 3 times as hard as you. And I can show that on a different video, but it'll work very hard for you the longer you have it there in these assets. And that's why you shouldn't sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Just buy and leave it, let it run, right? But here's the thing that happens. Fear gets in the way of people buying assets. Fear. Most people don't ever get a deposit for a house, right? If they do, they borrow a ton of money. But fear prevents them buying shares. Fear prevents them investing their money. They get scared. But the only thing you should be scared about is not compounding or reverse compounding through inflation by keeping your money in savings or not having any money working for you. I much prefer to have money working for me. I can sleep and my money makes money for me. That's what I want for you, okay? So that's the compound effect. That's how it's actually applied. So it's where you ought to be seeking to buy assets. And the assets will compound your wealth, and that's the most important thing. And you have to level up your financial IQ so you can get rid of the fear. Because once you have an understanding about how assets work and how to buy them and how to work around them emotionally, okay, and with a bit of IQ, you will eliminate the fear. And you will be like, oh my God, I should have done this a lot earlier. Okay, so if you're wanting to compound your wealth, keep watching all my videos on YouTube. Plug into my podcast, Money Grows on Trees. If you haven't read my books yet, you can get my book, Money Buys Happiness, at moneybuyshappinessbook.com or moneygrowsontreesbook.com. I've written 2 books, and that will teach you some of the things you need to know about money. All right. So I'll put the links in the description. You can check it out there for the podcast as well. But I hope you've enjoyed this YouTube clip, and give me a follow on Instagram at Lloyd James Ross and ask me a question. If I can do a doodle for you, I will be happy to do it to explain some of these more complicated aspects of financial IQ, money management, investing, and so forth. So I look forward to doing many more videos. Thanks for tuning into my channel, and I'll see you on the next YouTube clip.